Hello, everyone, and welcome to Really Old Movies. I'm your host, Harrison Scullin, and today I'll be discussing The Wings of Eagles from 1957. So now let me show you the critic list description. The story of Frank W. Spig Weed, who is a Navy flyer turned screenwriter. Alright, so now my thoughts on the plot. The plot, I gave it a 2 out of 5. I'm going to be honest, I thought it was really long and not super engaging. This is a John Ford film, and typically I love his character moments, his great scenery like that. This movie doesn't have that, and I would have liked more war scenes. We really just see that dynamic and the romance and whatnot, and just a little bit of the flying. I could have used a lot more of that. I didn't care for the melodrama stuff as much. So, because of that, that's why I gave the plot a 2 out of 5. All right. Now, the acting. The acting, I gave it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was okay, not super great. John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara are definitely the best of the cast in the whole film. I had a good time with them, I guess, but so much time spent with the romance that it, to me, kind of detracts from the World War II pilot, World War I stuff. So that's why I gave the acting a 3 out of 5. All right, set design. 3 out of 5, nothing super spectacular. Though I thought the flying scenes were kind of cool, the ships and the boats and whatnot that they had, and the airplanes. They looked cool, but nothing like that really wowed me, if that makes sense. All right, cinematography, same thing. It was very average. I thought the real footage that they used from the war was much, much more interesting than some of the more melodramatic scenes. So, 3 out of 5. All right, music. 2, it was just okay. I didn't love it. Not great. 2 out of 5. All right, so overall, that brings my score to 2.6 out of 5, which is a 52%. Now, let me break down my critic list score. Graphic language, none. Violence, there's the war scenes and whatnot, but they're pretty tame. In fact, the scariest scene is actually when John Wayne's character falls down the stairs and breaks his neck. That's probably the scariest scene of the whole movie. Not even any of the war stuff. Nudity, sexual content, nothing, just some kissing. Political bias, none. Family friendly, I would say this is very family friendly, although I think kids would be bored because, I'll be honest, I was pretty bored too. Entertainment value, the war stuff was interesting, and the dynamic between him and some of the pilots was fun. Like at the beginning when they're competing with the army to travel around the world. That was interesting, but not super engaging. So overall, would I recommend this movie? Not really. It's kind of long, kind of boring, not that interesting. It was definitely subpar, especially for a John Ford film. I expected a lot more. This came out, let's see, 57. I believe this came out a year after The Searchers. That is a much better movie, and it's not a World War II movie, but it's a Western. That movie is much, much better than this one is. So everybody who's in it has been in much, much better, for sure. This is definitely a B movie. All right, well, those are my thoughts overall on The Wings of Eagles from 1957, and that concludes today's movie review.